got them at me.
I haven't gotten that far, I'm just kind of skimming through.
Just proposed thing and one.
Oh.
This is Fremont.
Okay. Well,
Some of them, it doesn't show the whole town, but
yeah.
some, oh wait, yes, there's one. You can make it small.
Yeah, you can't, this is typically you need a magnifying glass. Oh, they got 3 of them. Yeah, you can't make anything out of these. Typical.
Hello?
Hi Justin, can you hear us?
Yeah, hey. Sorry, I'm in the car because I had to take my wife to get her first shot. So
Okay.
she's getting that now.
Well, I'll mute you for a minute, and then when we get
Okay,
to you,
no
we'll
worries.
unmute you. Okay, just wanted to make sure it worked good.
Yep.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to the meeting, April 13th, 2021. Roll call?
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Daydreaming over here. Supervisor Murray,
Here?
Councilman Smith,
Here.
Councilman Kiefer.
Here.
And Councilman Planford.
Here.
Okay.
At this time, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. Heavenly Father, please watch over us tonight as we conduct the meeting for the town of Fremont and conduct the business at hand. Please watch over all of us. We're going home and hope that our troops and all of our people will be coming home soon. Amen.
That's gonna be September.
First up is a report from Justice Betsy Farley. Court is held the first and third Mondays at 10 a.m. following safety protocols as advertised by the 7th Judicial District. Attached, please find the information related to my monthly submission report to the State Comptroller, Justice Court Fund. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Next up is from the Assessor, Holly Small. I have been busy working on preparing the tentative role, special franchise, certifying state land exemptions and telecommunications, as well as continuing to process monthly transfers, escrows, and other miscellaneous administrative duties. I am continuing to do field review and updating property record cards, as well as working on open building permits and doing field review to verify recent sales. The cutoff date for processing the tentative roll is April 18th. The tentative roll will be filed on or about May 1st. Grievance is scheduled on May 26th from 10 a.m. to noon and 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the town hall. Once again, if there are any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me, Holly Small. Next up is from the Code Enforcement Officer, John Leonard Jr. He traveled 56 miles to deliver the report, 64 miles to renew house permit, 62 miles for a fire, got a demo permit. Total of 182 miles. Next up is the dog control report. 2 unleashed dogs, 1 bite, 6 unlicensed dogs. The dog bites reported on Kenyer at 6. Dog at large at 9026 State Route 21 South due to house fire. And then, multiple dogs reported loose on 322 at 7749 Old Creek Road. Then Jeff, would you like to do your report?
We serviced and worked on the grader, the 80 John Deere tractor, roller, Dodge 1-ton, and Dodge pickup. Went to training for MSHA, CPR, and the dig safety. Cleaned some shoulders on Bill's Road and cleaned the ditch on Evans, and graded Rose Road.
Thank you, Jeff. And then the planning board, anything from them? What about the ZBA?
Nothing at this time.
So at this point, we'll move on to old business. We need to approve the change to the March 2021 abstract. National fuel was changed from $150 to $122.63, makes a difference of $27.37. The actual total for March is $20,693.87.
I move we approve the change for the March 2021 abstract.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Flansburgh.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Kiefer.
Aye.
And Murray.
Aye.
4 ayes, 0 nay, and 0 abstain.
And were any changes to the minutes from the regular meeting on March 9th?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for March 9th as stated.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Murray.
Aye.
Burns. Oh, I'm sorry. Smith.
Aye.
Kiefer.
Aye.
And Flansburgh.
Aye.
4 ayes, 0 nay, and 0 abstain.
At this time, we'll move on to new business, and we have Justin Lotek on a Zoom meeting to go over the route evaluation study for phase 1 of Barren Winds.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
So for Barren Winds, yeah, there's actually 2 items that we've sent over. One was a revised Appendix B. I'm not sure, that is a map of the road. So we had a preliminary map that we had inserted into the agreement back when we negotiated this. I want to say it was in 2019. So that was for the entire project. And the revised exhibit is for the roads that we would need for phase 1 of the project, which I think comes out to be about 1.5 miles. It's basically Max School, a section of Max School Road and Davis Road for the Fremont roads. So that exhibit, I mean, those roads are the same as what we had before, just drastically reduced. And then alongside that, we sent in the road study that was done by Fisher for the town's review and to see if there were any questions on that report. And I'll add that we had Fisher also do this study as well for the other towns and for the county as well. So the data that was gathered for that report was back in 2019. So that was back when it was, a bigger project. We had assessed all the roads for the project, expecting to start construction that year, and now we're in 2021. So that data is a little old. I think that what that does is ends up giving the town a big benefit in that any life lost in the roads would end up being on our cost. So if, there's extra 2 years of wear and tear essentially, that any public usage of the roads in the last 2 years that would not have been accounted for in these studies, that when we do a post-construction survey to assess the strength of the roads using the same analysis with falling weight deflectometer, ground penetrating radar, the visual analysis, looking at the cracks, doing a coring, and eventually a video survey as well. All of that would get redone after construction, and then the engineers could take a comparison of the original data compared to the revised data once construction is done, so that would happen in 2022 probably, or potentially, I mean, it would probably be the very end of 2022, just weather dependent. So they would look at the difference between what was assessed initially before and after construction. And then any life lost in the roads would essentially be what we would be responsible for making up. So if there are any questions about either the map that we sent in or the study, please let me know.
Can you kind of go through what exactly you're gonna do to Mac School and Davis Road to prepare them?
Yeah, so the analysis showed that both Davis Road and Maxwell Road did not require pre-construction improvements. So I mean, there's kind of two components here. We have you guys to look out for, making sure that your roads are suitable for your use, that they're safe, that we're not damaging them. And then we have ourselves as well. So we obviously have very large vehicles. The concrete and the aggregate trucks tend to be the ones that probably do more damage than the turbine trucks. But the turbine trucks are the ones that really are critical and crucial for us to ensure that there are no delays or issues getting from wherever they are coming from, likely at one of the ports, either Buffalo or Albany, and then to the project site. So you guys, I'm sure, have seen these giant, blades and vehicles going down the road, and they'll usually be escorted by other vehicles. So there's a great expense to get those to the site as quickly as possible without any issues. So we have to do these analyses no matter what to ensure that the strength of the roads are suitable for the materials that we will be bringing over and that there will not be any failures. So the analysis that we did looked at that and assessed the strength of the roads. Basically, it's not just the surface and what it kind of looks like, but they essentially do sort of an X-ray, getting what's underneath that road. That's what's called the ground penetrating radar. They do the coring, so they can actually take a physical sample and analyze that in the lab. And then they do the falling with deflectometer, which is they drop big heavy weight, and then they measure a wave that's propagated over a certain distance to analyze other components of the base and underneath the surface of the roads. So all those analyses came back, and for Fremont's roads actually were suitable for the construction and for the traffic for construction. So those there's no pre-construction improvements proposed for the two roads for Fremont. Post-construction would be a different story, so that we would have to redo our analyses. We would supply the town both with the data ahead of time, or the pre-construction and the post-construction, to look at the difference. And then that's when, any life that's made, like, there would likely be some improvements done after construction to make up for any damage or life lost in the roads.
How many turbines do you plan to run down Davis Road?
Davis Road.
So you
in
have
that
two
report-
routes.
Yeah, I got my computer here too, so let me just check, see if I can tell you. If you look at the very end of the report, there's what's called the ESOL analysis. It's the second to last page. That is telling us what the data is for how we calculate impacts to the roads. So an ESOL is an equivalent single axis load. Sorry if you guys already all know this, but because these trucks are so big and they have multiple axles, we break that down to basically translate it into what that means for a normal vehicle driving down the road. So we can calculate basically the impact that each one of these vehicles would have, equivalent to a standard, I think it's 18,000 pound single axis load. There's a definition there somewhere. But that is what those numbers are in that ESOL estimate, and that's what all the engineers use to estimate the impacts of what would happen to these roads. For the turbines themselves, just kind of look at the map, sorry. So I think there would be 1, 2, I believe there are 7 turbines going down that road. Maybe 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, 8. I count 8 on my map. And there should be a way to just calculate the easels on that page that I mentioned. I'm just kind of doing some division. And I noticed on that easel table, I'm not sure if you guys have that in front of you, the Davis Road section is listed as Wayland. So we would, that's part of it's probably Wayland, part of it is you guys. But yeah.
And what is your time frame? What's the date you'll be starting this?
So right now, our earliest construction date would be September 1st. That's basically what we've given our construction team as a date that we would not be able to start earlier than. So we are lining up everything from the Article 10 side, so there's a lot of conditions associated with the Article 10 related to environmental issues. All of those, we're working with our consultants now to get those completed and get them submitted to the DPS over the summer to basically match up with that September 1 start date. We're currently doing an RFP right now with multiple contractors to price the project out for construction. I think there's a number of contractors that are looking at this right now. So we should have pricing for construction by the end of this month for a number of contractors, and then we'll work over the months of May and June to select a contractor, negotiate the contract, and hopefully have something executed in July for them to start as early as September. We kind of leave the schedule up to them to really kind of fine tune as far as when exactly they would want to be out there. What we've told our construction team is to not plan anything earlier than September 1. So basically the way that it would work is that they get out there, they first put down a laydown yard. I believe that would be in Cohocton. There would be tree clearing, which would occur pretty soon thereafter, as well as access road building. So those are the components that would first take place and that you'd start seeing. Then turbines themselves would not come until June of 2022. So there's still some time for those machines to start arriving. But the foundations and the access roads and that civil work would likely start taking place in the fall and spill into winter. And depending on weather, we'll see how far they can get before winter hits hard. The collection system, the underground collection system would likely, I need a schedule from our construction team, but I don't think they plan to start that until 2022. And then we have our substation work as well, which would start taking place sometime this fall. So overall, I expect construction to be done. We are targeting for an October 31st, 2022 date. There's obviously room for delay or unexpected conditions. So, when you're putting up these turbines, you have strict requirements to follow regarding wind speeds and things like that when you're erecting with the cranes. So sometimes when it's too windy, you cannot operate or put up the tower section, the blade that you were expecting to put up that day. So the contractors get time extensions based on that. But we would aim for an October COD with kind of having a backstop date, trying to be by the end of 2022, end of December.
At what point do we sit down with you and go over the bonds and the road use agreement?
So I think that the bonds we would look to put in place probably in July. We can talk about that. Ultimately we need to make sure they're there before we do any kind of physical work and the construction side. So I would like to plan on trying to have the securities in place for all the towns probably in late July or in August. If we need to do it sooner, we can do that, but we're not going to have any construction activity until then, so I'd like to get a date for when they actually want to start, and then knowing these things take a little time, work that out with you guys a few months before then.